Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Lori. This is episode 3 of the self love series, and I'm holding this microphone because this is up really close. And if I put it here, it's going to be all under here, and you're not going to be able to hear anything. So I'm holding it. But this is important because when you have self love, you're not sitting in comparison to other people. Because now to be inspired by people, that's great, right? So let's say you're inspired by somebody. Instead of comparing yourself and going, well, I should be further along. Okay, well, why? Why should you be further along? Or I should be able to do that. Why? Who says who? Says what? Like, what do you mean? Right? But if you're inspired, instead of comparing yourself, reach out to that person, talk to that person, find out what they're doing. Like good, pull that, like embrace that, love what the other person's doing. Don't feel FOMO or like a little bit of jealousy. Don't do that because that's just all ego. And so when you're in that space, if you're inspired by somebody, beautiful. If they give you the inspiration, by all means, that's great. We love that you're doing that. But it's when you compare yourself, oh, I'm not doing this fast enough. Look at everybody else. I just graduated college. Everybody else has a job but me. Like, okay, first of all, everybody else doesn't have a job but you. Don't make it so black and white. The problem is you look at it from the vision in which you see it, from the lens in which you're wearing. Oh, well, I mean, other people, I'm 40, like I have never been married. Like, I should be married. Says who? Why should you be married? You don't have to be married. You don't have to have children. Like, that's not real. Like, you can, but you don't have to, right? And it's never too late for you to start something, right? I know it was funny when my son was in going back into college, like when he finished up his college recently, but like a year ago. But when he was in there was a lady in there older than me. And she was going back in. I guess she was empty nest. She wanted to get her life back together. She didn't compare herself and go, well, God, I should be further along or I should go into retirement. Or no, she just took a chance. Because see, when you're comparing yourself based on your insecurities. That's the same for that judgment piece. People can only judge you. And when you're only judging from your own insecurity, your own limited belief system. So when you're comparing yourself and you're saying, look at everybody and I'm doing this, you're literally sabotaging yourself. Are you going to complain about it? Or are you going to do something about it? Number one. And number two, there's no time on this. I think it's a big myth that, our country in the States recognize people at 18 as being an adult. Yeah, cool. There's still so much to learn. Don't think at 18 you're supposed to have it together. Don't think that you're going to go into college and be like, this is my major. And maybe that's what you're going to stick with. And then you're going to get out. And then you're going to get a job and you're going to make X amount of dollars. Then you're going to get married. You might have 2.5 kids, a dog, a house, money in the bank. Now you have retirement. Now you die. Like, what? Where's the fun? Where's all of that? See, you're so concerned about comparing yourself that you're not living your life. And again, if you feel bad about yourself and you're lacking self love, you will compare yourself, not pull inspiration, compare and go, God, I'm just not as smart as them. I'm not as skinny as them. I'm not as tall as them. I'm not as short as them. This becomes a problem. So when you're in that space of constant comparison of why does everybody else have friends? Why does everybody else have marriages? Why is everybody else? Stop with the black and white thinking. You're going all or nothing. And you're assuming that your life is going to be this way forever and ever and ever because you think catastrophically. Everything seems so hard right now. And that means the rest of your life is going to be miserable. No, that's not what that means. That's that all or nothing thinking and very self sabotaging. So when you're sitting in self sabotage, instead of self-love, you're going to look and you're going to be envious of people who have the dates, who have the friends, who have all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to be your best friend. You have to love yourself. You have to make those choices and decisions. And instead of going, woe is me, falling into victim mentality, because a lot of self-comparison goes into a victim mentality. I'm being a victim because I don't have friends. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a dog, whatever the case may be. You go into this victim mentality. When you are in that victim mentality, you can't see your way out of it. You can only see the problem. You can only see that you're never having a relationship. You can only see that you never have friends. You can only see that you're going to not be skinny enough. There's always going to be something. And so when you're looking at somebody and you're comparing yourself to them, that's a you issue, not a them issue. That's lack of self-love. Again, how you know that you're in self-love is you look at somebody, see where they are, and you pull inspiration. You go, I want to know more. I want to know more. I'm going to reach out to this person. I want to know more. That's beautiful. That's inspiration. And so that is the difference. So the next time you catch yourself comparing yourself, check yourself, because that's A, lack of self love, and B, you're only doing so from what you think you see. But sometimes what you think you see is not what you see. It's the idea of it. It's kind of like relationships, right? You're like, oh, I'm in this relationship. I really like this person. I could really see a long-term thing with it. And then, I don't know, a couple red flags come up and you're like, well, I'll ignore them because I have an idea of what I want versus accepting people for who they are and what they can and cannot bring to the table. Two different things, right? So the next time that you catch yourself doing that, you want to check and say, why are you projecting your stuff onto them? And then why are you allowing that to go into a victim mentality space and be like, well, woe is me? Because the moment you go into woe is me, now we've ventured into victim mentality. That's exactly where we've gone. And then to think, I'm superior. Let's say that you make it big. And let's say you're comparing yourself to others and you think that you're better than others. You think that you're more advanced than others. You think that you're at a different space in your life. And you could be at a different space in your life. But I'm going to tell you, that's your ego. Not because you're successful. By all means, do that. Love that. I'm here for it. But if the moment you think that somebody who works let's say as in a fast food restaurant or in a server position, like I was a server for a long time, growing up in high school and stuff, and they're not less than you. No one is. So the moment you look down your nose at someone and be like, well, God, why aren't they doing that, and why aren't they doing this, and why, that's ego, and definitely not self-love, big time insecurity. And so there's a lot that comes into that, because you can always compare yourself, not just to thinking yourself is too less, but also to thinking yourself is better parent, better this, better that, better. I'm going to give unsolicited advice. No, we're not doing that. You're still comparing yourself. So the next time you do that, you want to stay in your lane, because true self-love is A, acceptance of self, number one. B, is acceptance of other people as who they are. If they don't vibe, if they don't align, you distance without the judgment. People say, well, don't you have to judge it in order to see if it serves you? No, you don't judge it, you observe it. Judging and observing, two different things. So you observe it and say, okay, this really isn't my jam. And then you just protect your peace. But don't judge them for not being your jam. Because now we go into a little bit of that ego, a lot of bit of that ego. So the next time you catch yourself, oh, and here's another thing while I'm thinking about it with this comparison thing. Don't follow things and people and situations that in your mind you're not ready to see without like comparing yourself to it. So if you're on Instagram, you're on any other socials, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you find yourself comparing but not pulling inspiration. If you're pulling inspiration, keep following, keep doing it, keep reaching out, keep DMing, do those things. But if you're doing it and you start feeling bad for yourself, now you're really self-sabotaging yourself because you're continuing to follow these things. Block, distance, protect your peace. It's your responsibility to protect your peace. Straight up and down, nobody's better than you, nobody's less than you. It's just we're all in different areas. We're all running the exact same race. We all have that exact same destination. All of us. Every human has that same destination. We're all wearing different shoes. We're taking different paths. We're on a different part of the journey. So you don't judge somebody else's journey. Don't feel superior because you're further along than them. Don't try to pull them along with you. Accept it for what it is. Don't compare yourself. So you want to do a good kind of like mock-up of like all of the social accounts that you're following on all of your social media. Is it doing something to move the needle? Meaning, is it giving you entertainment? Is it giving you education? Is it just enjoyable? Is it relaxing? Good, keep it. Do you find yourself being hypercritical of them or of yourself? Do you find yourself getting irritated? Do you find yourself getting jealous? Then distance, right? And then focus deeper, because in life, there's always going to be somebody who in your mind is better. So what? That's their journey. That's not your journey, because we're all going to the same place. When you get humbled in understanding that you are both amazing and irrelevant in the same time, then you're going to be really good with understanding that everybody is both irrelevant and important at the same time. Everybody's replaceable. Don't care who you are. You are. So when you stay humble and you practice that self-love and know that you are enough for you and define what being enough of yourself is, now we're in a good space and now we're not comparing. So that is the big key. Episode 3 of this self-love series, knock off that comparing. Okay? Do the work. Don't go into the victim mentality. Focus there. Get inspired, not comparing.